Hello, everybody. Felicia here with another layout. I love that picture. That is a picture of my bearded son. Yes, my son. He sports that beard all the time. I think he lets it grow so long and then he cuts it. So I don't know. Anyway, that's him. And the reason why he's making that face is because he did not want me to take that picture. Which I thought was hilarious. You know how us mothers are. We always think the pictures of our children are either funny, beautiful, or hilarious, or whatever the case may be. But anyway, so I decided to go ahead and do this layout and making it a more masculine layout. I haven't done a masculine layout like this one in a long time. Usually when I do a layout of my son, it's usually because of his age, it's usually with someone else. And so most of my layouts are, kind of a mixture of brighter colors and things like that. But this one is just him and him alone now that he's a nice grown man there in college and everything. So I decided to go ahead and do a masculine layout of him only, which this was a perfect opportunity for me to do so. So I've matted the photo there on basic black paper there, and now I'm also giving it a tiny little bit of a white outline because I'm going to be using some white on this layout. And it is a rich dark color. It's a nice sturdy heavy duty cardstock from Cut Cardstock, and the color is burgundy. And I just, oh my gosh, I love the color. That's one of the reasons why I chose this color. So this is their basis cardstock in burgundy. And what I'm doing here is I have some masculine paper. I forgot all about the masculine paper that I had because I haven't used it in a while. And this masculine paper is been around in my stash forever. So I decided to go ahead and use that. And it's almost gone, literally. The pad that I had, I really am surprised at how, I don't have a whole lot of it left. And I don't know how that happened, but I guess I have been really scrapping and making cards, of course, and stuff like that. So, anyway, so what I've done was I lined that piece that I had. This paper pad came with a bunch of little pieces in it, and it's pretty old. It's by Graphic 45, and it's pretty old. So, but I am mixing it here with the bases cardstock in burgundy, and I outlined it with black so that it could stand out. And that little strip that you see also there that I'm getting ready to put on here as well is also from the same paper pad there. So the only thing that on this layout that is of Cut Cardstock is the burgundy. Alrighty, so now I am trying to position it. You can see I'm trying to, I always drum my thumbs on the desk when I try to figure out how I'm going to do this. So I was going to put this black tissue paper behind the photo in a fan-like type of deal thing and crumple it up, but I didn't quite like how it looked. I don't think I was taking my time enough to to figure out how I wanted this, because I've done this before and for some reason it didn't turn out right on this one. I don't know, maybe it's because it was a more of a masculine layout. I'm not sure, but I put it on there and then I didn't like it. So I was like, I don't know. I mean, I think it's okay, but I didn't like it quite. But I've done it before. I don't know why it didn't work this time. So anyway, so you're going to see me put this on, and it definitely is going to come off later. So I don't know why I did that. So it's just really strange. Sometimes you can do a technique one time and then it doesn't work like the next time. I guess it's because this is more of a masculine layout, maybe. So I'm not sure. I'm going to try it again, though, on a different layout. So that technique there. So all right, so I am getting ready to start putting these strips down because I want to put those down first because the photo depends on where it's going. And right here, I put it a little high up than I really wanted to on the layout, but it's okay. It still worked out, for the best at the end. And then I put the other strip on there too, and I kind of off kiltered, the both of them so they're not lined up exactly because I didn't want them like that. So then here's where I go and I'm like fooling around with this tissue paper and I'm like, Kesha, why isn't it not doing what I wanted to do, And I was like, you know what? I don't like this. You should have saw my face when I first put it down. It's like, I don't like it. And I was like, eh. So anyway, I decided I would definitely not use this. So I'm laughing now because I know me. I'm just really just, I don't know. Anyway, so I leave it there for a minute and so to see if I like it. And sometimes I do that when I'm working on my layouts and stuff like that. So, but I am going to put this black ribbon down. The black ribbon is going to be going through some ephemera. That was also from that paper pad, but they already have holes in it, so it's kind of old school. I'm going a little bit old school back here because I've been scrapbooking for a long time, you guys. So I'm using an old school method with some new paper there, and you can see that. So I put the ribbon through that, and I cut this ribbon in fours. In other words, I cut the ribbon in half, and then I cut the half in half so I can get some thin strips. So there you go. See, I just took it off. I was like, so I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, it looks better like that. So yeah, it didn't look too hot with all of that on there. So I was going to thread this through here. Well, I did thread it, as you can see. And I didn't like the way that looked either. So, and it's not like I normally struggle with my layouts. I usually know exactly kind of, really for the most part what I like. But this wasn't looking like I wanted it to. So I definitely did not put that second string on there. I figured I would take it off. So I left it there like I do everything else just to see if I like it. And I was like, nope. I removed it right away. And I just took the string out and put it down there by itself. But I later figured out what I wanted to do with that one because I did want that second one, that piece of ephemera on there. So now I am probably going to I got the little metal piece there and I thread the ribbon through that piece instead, and I said, oh yeah, this is much better, much better. So it's like a paisley look to it, and it's metal, and it's got the colors that are on this layout, perfect colors that are on this layout in it as well. So I decided to do that. So I went ahead and started gluing down these little pieces of ephemera, these little I don't know what you would call them. I guess like little tag spots, not tag spots, but the little, I can't remember for the life of me. Anyway, usually those are used for different things, but I decided to go use those today as a part of the decorative element on the page. I put some adhesive down to keep my ribbon in place there, as you can see, and it worked out perfect. Then I put it right across that part there so it can stay in one spot there. I did not glue the metal piece down. The metal piece is actually just sitting there floating because it didn't need to be glued down because the adhesive from the ribbon and everything, and plus what I'm going to do with it later, held the little metal piece on. So there's that photo. Look at that. Yay. I was just checking to see if I had it straight. And if you haven't been on my channel long enough to by now, you will know that I am the queen of Cricut. So I try to make sure I put things on straight because I will definitely get it crooked. So I always double check and sometimes triple check and make sure it's straight. So I tied the ribbon on the back and I put a little adhesive to keep it in its spot there, because on both sides, because I was like, oh, this ribbon has got to stay, strong. So it did. It worked perfect. So now I am going to be putting the other section on, and I'm glad I did not put that second ribbon over here because it looks much better like this, and I like that look. It's almost like if I have lined paper on it instead, and I know how to do this without the ribbon. I just thought the ribbon would add a nice little touch because there's another technique that you could use instead of using ribbon. You can actually put a strip of black paper down and then make it look like it's going through the holes. It's a really cool technique to do, or you could just put some brads and then put the ribbon down, and then the brads will make it look like it's going through and all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty good technique to use, but I wanted to actually put the ribbon down, so I did just that. And so then I go to tie it on the back, of course, and I add some adhesive to it so it can stay put in the back and not moving all over. Plus, it won't get snagged too much on the plastic inserts when you're trying to put it in the page protector. So there it goes, and it is going on, and then I course, once I get this one on, it does come out a little crooked. That's why I said I am the queen of crooked. You'll see in the front. And then I get a little irritated and annoyed with it because it is crooked. I'm like, because it does something to the layout. It kind of sets it off a little bit, and I'm like, oh man. So I don't particularly care for that. And you can see it. It's pretty obvious at the bottom there. And so I was like, oh man. So at least the top is straight. So I looked at the bottom and I was like, I gotta take this off and straighten it. And then I just say, you know what? Let me just, because I started bending the cardstock just a little bit, put a little bend in it. I was like, oh man, let me just wait. So then I just proceed to go ahead and finish the rest of the layout by adding some more of these little label things down. Labels, that's what they are, labels. Yay, I figured it out. Yeah, my brain is fried, you guys. I'm still dealing with the last few finals here for school, so you have to excuse me. So I get those glued down and I kind of off center that one because I want them all straight. It's going to serve as a base for the alphas and for some more little decorative thingies that I want to put on there. And so now this layout has the colors of burgundy, white, blue, and black. And these are colors that are, except for the white, are more masculine. So I decided to go ahead and use those colors here on the layout. So I must have went somewhere. Gosh, I must have went somewhere. I must be, oh, there I am. I'm coming back. I think I went to go get something and I've totally forgot it. So there I am. I know what it was. I was looking for some pop dots to put down and things for the layout because I'm gonna start working on putting down some of the circles and see, that's what it was. And so I did that, and so now I have these circles there and I popped them up a little bit to give them some dimension so it looks pretty cool. So the actual photo doesn't do it any justice, but oh my goodness, this is the coolest thing I've done in a while and I really like it. On a masculine layout, that is. And I really like it. So it came out nice. I popped up those little paper ephemeral circles and I put them strategically, on the layout and everything, kind of spread them out there. And it was hard trying to get those little thingies off. I know myself. I'm like trying to get those little plastic, not the plastic, but the little oh no, now I'm having another brain fart, you guys. The backing off of the adhesive, I'll just say. All right, so you can see me working there. I'm pulling all out the circles and stuff so I can start putting them down and getting those set up there so they can have like a three-dimensional look. I'm starting to like this layout. I really did because some of the stuff that we have in our stash, you guys, we don't use for a while, and then when you go to use it, it's like opening up a new package of candy or something like that. To me, it is. So there you see me popping those circles up and placing them all over the page there. And I'm liking so far how this is looking. And if you look at the ribbon there, you can see it kind of fraying a little bit because I cut that ribbon in half. But it actually is kind of cool because it actually adds to the layout. And I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. So it doesn't really give it justice. The video doesn't give it too much justice, but it looks really cool. So I'm drumming my fingers again, so that means I'm thinking. Anytime when you see me do that, I'm thinking. I don't know why I do that, but I just, oh no. Yeah, oh my gosh. Anyway, so, all right. So now I am about to get ready to pull out the alphas here. As you can see, I am using, some old alphas from, I can't even remember. So, but anyway, so I'm pulling those out. I think it's pink paisley or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, so they've been in my stash forever, and I'm pulling those out, and I'm using those dark blue ones because, otherwise they won't get used. And I'm also going to use some of the stars because he's my only son, and he is the star of this photo right now, even though beard and all. And he pulls his hat down over his eyes because he did not want me to take that picture, which I think is hilarious because back in the day when he was younger, he didn't care about pictures. You could take them all day and night, but when they become older, They're like, eh. And this one is a full grown adult right here. This dude here, he's like in his 20s. So um, he's still a baby though to me because he's young. So so, and then I found these little extra pieces of this ribbon which had the colors in it of the layout, and I said, you know what, I can use this, and I'm just gonna put it on the layout right here and cut it and glue it and everything else. It's worked out perfect. So, and it's funny how you find these things in your stash that you don't even use or that you totally forgot about, and then you put them on your layout and it's like a brand new thing. And I'm like, yeah, this looks cool and I really like it. It adds to the layout there at the top, and I'm really happy that I did find it because this is all the stuff matches. And like I said, everything you see here except for the cardstock, which I got from Cut Cardstock, is from my stash. Everything is from my stash on here. Um, so yeah, this is cool, and I'm liking how this is turning out because now I'm adding on those stars. The stars are the same color, and I add on a few of the circles and things like that and all that good stuff. So what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting strips for the journaling. I'm going to use white little strips and write in black on those white little strips for the journaling. And the strips are long here, but I'm just kind of placing them how I want them. And then I thought about how I was going to place them, and then I almost totally forgot that I'm going to be putting the words down, the title down, You Rock. And so I ended up cutting those strips a little bit off and then also pulling it down a little bit for the alphas there, because so you could see me start putting the U. And then I wanted to kind of put the rock, but I wanted the rock to kind of nestle a little bit, part of it, so it's not just floating out there. And as you can see how I did that, so right there. Yeah, so this is how I wanted to do it. And I figured this would be a great way of putting that down. So then I was like, okay. And then of course the U rock part is a little crooked, and so I had to straighten that up. I'm like, today is the day for a crookedness. So you can see me pull it up and straighten it out there. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah. All right. So now I start lining up the whatchamacallit. So then I actually did take that off, that bottom part, because it was bothering me that much that it was crooked, and so I straightened it out, as you can see, because it was bothering me. And I know we're not supposed to expect perfection, but when you have something like that that's bothering you and throwing off how you're going to lay down the next item, then yeah, by all means, I would straighten it out, and I should just straighten it out too, because you want it to all line up. But if it's crooked and it's not really going to interfere with anything, I just leave it. That's exactly what I do, just leave it. So all right, so I think I am going to go get something else, and I did. I went to go get some black brads to put through the holes of that other piece of ephemera. Instead of putting the ribbon through, I decided to go ahead and put the brads through, and that helped out a lot. It actually gave it a different look, and I'm glad I did that because it was better than putting the ribbon through it. So, and then of course, if you ever want to stick any brads down without them going through your paper, you can do that. You can use these things that I have, and they're like the 3D Zots with a Z, as in zebra, and OTS. So I've been using Zots since I started scrapbooking, and I'm so glad they're still around because they're the best for adhesive. So I'm drumming my fingers again. So I'm trying to figure out something, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let me go get the Zots. And so, of course, I go get the Zots. Everything in my scrap room is not super close, so it takes a little bit to go because it depends. And normally when I scrapbook, I usually have everything that I'm going to use right at my fingertips, but sometimes it depends. It's not always possible. So anyway. So I'm putting those Zots down, and as you can see, they're see-through. And what those Zots do is they hold that metal into place, and they're very strong. You can glue metal with those things. That's how strong. Any metal embellishments you can put on your layout with those things, boy, I tell you, those 3D Zots are super strong. They're like big fat little glue dots. So all right, so now I'm going to start writing some of the journaling on here, and I'm writing that my son did not want to take this photo. He asked me not to, but true to form, I did it anyway. I love my children, and I think they are hilarious as adults, because they are. So now I am pretty much done with the journaling part of it, and I did that really quick because you didn't want to see me write all of that stuff. And I'm putting down the strips now, and I'm using my HEG gun because it was thick enough to do that. Some adhesive got a little bit out of control, but I was able to get it, in the shape there. So I'm putting those little strips directly under the U-Rock. Yes, because he does. He's my boy. Very smart, very intelligent, and he's just something else though. And I remember when he was a baby. Yeah, I know, like it was yesterday. Which I'm not going to talk about because he would not like that because he watches my videos sometimes. So I'm not going to talk too much about that, except I'll say this: he was humongous. He was over 8 pounds when he was born. And let me tell you, his appetite matched. Oh my gosh. But that's all I'll say about that. I don't want to embarrass him completely. So, all right. So now I got those strips down, and I like how they're just off kilter. That's how I do. And I accidentally knocked off the U for some reason. I don't know what I was doing, but I was a little bit too excited there, and I had to put it back on. So yeah, so it's all set. Now the only thing I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to cut off a little bit of this ribbon here, and then I'm going to sprinkle some of the black velvet Heidi Swapp mist that I have down on my shelf. And it looks good, but because the cardstock is already dark, it showed up good. But then again, I ended up using some white, which actually showed up real good, on here. And then later, when it dried, it soaked up the color of the cardstock, and it became like this light kind of burgundy-ish color, and it was really cool. I mean, I was, I don't know, some of the things we do, we're like, what? And then we go, what? So, you'll see the white, though, when you see at the end of the video, because the black did not, it showed up good. So there it is. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to me rant. And if you please check out Cut Cardstock, and so that you can get your own cardstock. Take care, everybody.